Okay, good morning. We're going to start, Angel. So let me bring the material for today. Well, yesterday we were watching some of the main subjects for the safety on a cruise ship, and also when giving first aid. So that's something that is really important. As for the theor theoretical part, is not. I think it's not too important. Um, in contrast with the practice, when you are in a training, you know, the the main focus is going to be doing the real things, and we have different ways to help a person, whether it's for burns, when the person, you know, gets burned. We also have when the person, we have some techniques when the person gets cut. So and also when the person falls and is unconscious, we have different ways to help the person. Yesterday we were discussing a little bit about the CPR method, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and that's something that can help a person and can help you know, the lungs and also the heart. So some of the steps for that are going to be, for the first part, you try to get help like fast, but well, in the United States, they have this number that is 911, 911. In Guatemala, it's kind of difficult because we need to know the different numbers for the city where we live. But well, we have Los Bomberos, we have Policía, Cruz Roja, and we should be aware of those for where we live. On this ship, we are going to have all the brigades for each section, and on a ship, you are going to have also a chief whom you can call or directly tell him that, or tell her that something is happening, as an accident happened. And so as for the CPR method, you should check vital signs. You should check vital signs, check breathing, check breathing. During 10 seconds, you should check breathing, but usually when you are going to, you know, perform the CPR, there is no breathing in the casualty. The word for the person that is having an incident is casualty. Casualty. So you should check vital signs first. You can also, you know, check the pulse on the neck. Check breathing during 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, you are going to hear if something is coming out from the mouth, and also the chest, if the chest is moving. But if there is no movement, you are going to proceed to the CPR. Okay, give rescue breath, rescue breath, 2 to 5 rescue breaths, okay, to try to oxygenate the blood, and then start performing CPR. The way that you are going to do CPR is 30, okay, 30 compressions upon the chest, and then 2 rescue breaths, 2 rescue breaths, and then and again 30 compressions, not 30 seconds, 30 compressions, and then again rescue breaths. That's going to be as long as the patient, as the casualty needs it, and as long as there is no help or paramedics that come into rescue. There are some stories where people performed CPR for approximately 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and that let the casualty or the person live because they didn't give up. They kept on doing CPR. So that's a thing that can help tremendously and can save your life also. So that's one of the things that are really important. I'm going to put a video just for you to know how the CPR is performed. But again, CPR is going to be performed when there is no breathing on the casualty. Okay, not everything is going to need CPR. Okay, but if there is no breathing on the patient, on the casualty, you need to perform CPR. And also the compressions upon the chest are strong, are kind of strong. I didn't know that. I haven't performed CPR myself on a training, but the compressions are quite strong to let the heart start having movement, and also for that movement to be strong enough. Some ribs can crack. In some of the cases, like 25 or 30%, ribs are going to crack. Imagine that. Así que los movimientos también para el CPR son duros, son fuertes, y muchas de las costillas, o sea, no todas, va, pero las que están más hacia arriba por el esternón y todo, pueden llegar a quebrarse porque el movimiento necesita ser fuerte. Yo pues no nunca lo había visto, y vamos a ver por acá cómo es el movimiento para que sepan un poquito la presión que se necesita, the pressure that is needed to be on the chest for the CPR to work.
So the first thing about any kind of first aid situation that we need to remember is that we have to be safe. And get hurt. Elvis said the song, "Fools Rush In." It's not foolish to rush in and help somebody, it's just unnecessarily dangerous. The second thing is to start shouting for help as soon as you know you need help, and keep shouting till it turns up. So, my casualty, I've asked him the question, "Can you hear me? Open your eyes." I've done all that. He hasn't done that. I'm going to check for breathing. I'm going to tip his head back. I'm going to balance myself on my elbow. And I'm going to look, listen, and feel for breathing for 10 seconds. In that time, I should have 3 breaths. I should feel him breathing on my cheek, hear him breathing in my ear, and see his belly and chest going up and down. We haven't got that, so he's not breathing normally, and go straight into CPR. I've shouted for help. I've got a bystander. I'm in a good place. So the heel of my hand in the center of his chest, my fingers level with his armpit, the other hand over the top with my heels together, my shoulders above the center of his chest, and I'm going to do 30 compressions in 15 seconds. And you can sing songs if you like. Nelly the Elephant works very well. So that's 30 compressions. How far down are you going to press? Third of the depth of the chest, 5 to 6 centimeters, or until you get a good color change. Doesn't matter what racial origin your casualty is, the color change will come through, and it looks healthier once you've done some CPR. So I've done the 30 compressions. I'm going to do 2 breaths, head tilt, chin lift again. I'm going to pinch his nose, close his nostrils, cover his mouth completely with mine, hold the bony part of his chin, and blow for 1 second. I head away, a nice fresh breath, and back in. Then 30 compressions, 2 breaths, 30 compressions, 2 breaths, until someone more qualified turns up.
Okay, so that's for the CPR procedure. That's kind of a big thing for you to know, for you to understand how the CPR is executed. And also it changes from adults to kids. Okay, and that's something that as seafarers you should know. And on trainings You know, the drills are going to include also some of these, some of the fire prevention drills, and also the different alarms that can happen inside the ship. That's for the CPR method. And then we have how to treat a wound like a cut, or maybe, you know, the person fell, so the person can get burned also. So we had different severities of burning on the stages from the how the skin is going to react to that burning. And we have also the what's inside the what's inside the first aid kit. For the standardized first aid kit, we are going to have a lot of things that we need to know, and most of them also are going to be gases and some medicines. We have we have different medicines, but we also have some of the typical ones for here in Guatemala. Let's hear this pronunciation so you can get this pronunciation in English.
Ibuprofen.
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 Ibuprofen. That's the pronunciation for this. Ibuprofen. Ibuprofen, and that's for anti-inflammatory.
Paracetamol.
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 Paracetamol. Completely different from what we have in Spanish, right? Paracetamol.
Paracetamol.
Paracetamol. So that's for some, you know, some discomfort upon your body to try to kill the pain. Paracetamol.
Paracetamol.
Paracetamol. Then we have antibiotics, and we also have a tourniquet to perform that tourniquet upon the victim. We can have an improvised tourniquet with something, and we also have the tourniquets that are standardized. Okay, that you are going to have. Well, they usually in these books and the materials for the training, they don't recommend an improvised tourniquet. They just recommend the tourniquet that is going to be in the first aid kit. Okay, and that's those are these ones recommended. So that's perfecto tourniquet, 2 to 3 inches ability of that limb.
Done. Cool. I've had this one now for a month or two and just kind of been waiting to see. I knew they were going to release before I posted my review video on it, so I'll go ahead and finish out that review now and post some more information about this one. We'll take a little bit closer look here at the TX3. So you've got your constricting band here. Get this tight. So help pull strap here to help get it snug, and then use the ratchet system here to help get it nice and tight to create your tourniquet. This particular model here is the TX3. The TX2 is also on the recommendation list. Slide this band on, get it, and then it ratchets. So this next one is the T.
For not having improvised tourniquets, having a really amazing tourniquets. I did a training before, but it was an improvised tourniquet, not like this. But there's a possibility that you are going to encounter these standardized tourniquets, and the way they work, it's pretty good. Okay, that's for yesterday's you know, part of having a lot of first aid basics and first aid procedures. all about this also covers some of the how to talk to the casualty, and to keep them motivated and keep them positive, like everything is going to work out, please, uh, okay, stay calm, I'm going to help you, I already shouted for help, so help is needed, tell me about yourself, uh, do you have family, uh, okay, and so you can start like talking with the casualty to get them speaking, to get the mind focus on something, for them to not enter shock, because if they start entering shock, okay, that's a bad sign, and the casualty can die, right? So you should be prepared for asking some questions, uh, and telling some stories. I don't know. The thing is to keep them talking, keep you also motivated. And as for the video, the man also stay safe. That's going to be one of the main problems, I will say, for you to keep safe, and also for the casualty. There are some scenarios when safety is not guaranteed, you need to leave, okay, imagine that. So that's kind of a decision for every person, whether to stay in, okay, and be with the victim, with the casualty, or just try to get some help fast, and leave to a safer place. As for the casualty, we cannot move the casualty if the casualty is unconscious, because it can be really damaging for the body of the person. The spinal injury, it can be spinal injury if we move them unconsciously. If the person is breathing or is in a bad state but is conscious, you can move the person. But if it's unconscious, it's going to be tremendously dangerous for the person to move. So that crisis, that sounds like some of, and on ship is going to be different types of crisis. Maybe some passengers are having problems, okay, like a heart attack, and so maybe a passenger drunk too much, okay, drunk too much, and you need to help them. Or maybe also a colleague is having a problem because the colleague fell or got burned, and so, okay, so those are different types of crises that you can have on board. It's easier thought in this computer, and so es más fácil como que ponerlo aquí en la computadora y todo, pero en verdad el entrenamiento es lo único que les va a dar a ustedes el cómo actuar rápido, actuar a la respuesta esa necesaria que se necesita en el manejo de crisis. Okay, so as for this last part of the course, we already saw 4 main things about the training, the safety training. Quiero mostrarles que ya pues abarcamos bastante teoría, ¿verdad? La verdad que sería bonito eso, combinarlo con práctica, y espero que también eso lo vaya a entrenar la naval. Okay, so we already saw four of the main 5: firefighting and fire prevention, personal and social responsibilities. This just sums on getting along with your colleagues, seafarers, your responsibilities on board, procedures for safety, or how to get safe in some crisis situation, personal survival techniques. That was the first one. Remember, elementary first aid. And then we have this last subject. This was yesterday's one day of practical training. Now look at this. This is practical training on basic first aid, resuscitation techniques, and practical first aid techniques. And then we have the proficiency in security awareness. This is for today and and to finish the course, I will say tomorrow some of these, and I need to cover or just to review the thing that also the Navy gave us. This is a half a day training module, which is all about how to respond to security issues and threats whilst working at sea. So some of the things that are in real life, like we have in movies, but they have that in real life, many situations as are pirates. We also have pirates in, at sea. At sea, there are pirates and there are people that, want to get your things and get on board of the ship and so. So that's kind of a thing that is really dangerous on. In Somalia, pirate hunting. Pirates that mess with the wrong ship. Somali pirates mess with Americans and Russians. Real combat between Russian Navy and Somali pirates. Oh, they attacked. They attacked the warship. Bad thing to do. Okay. Well, let's watch this. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. How they act, okay, the pirates, and also for the Somali pirates. So that's for some of the things that we need to cover on this last part. How to respond to security issues and threats whilst working at sea. So let me get. Okay, so we are going to have some of these read. As for the, how to react with this, both MTSA and the ISPS code require that all facility personnel and seafarers have knowledge of the requirements of the maritime security levels and behavioral patterns of persons likely to threaten security. Okay. Both both MTSA. What's the MTSA? Maritime Transportation Security Act. And ISPS. ISPS. Código Internacional para la Protección de los Buques y las Estaciones Portuarias. SOLAS is something that is on the training. That's for the safety of life and sea. So, safety of life at sea, SOLAS. That's something that is referred on the training, SOLAS. And ISPS, that's the International Ship and Port Facility Security. All right. So, are you ready, Angel, for reading a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are ports and facilities prime targets for terrorists?
Okay. So, let's have the answer.
Ports and facilities play a large role in international commerce. Ports and facilities are often located in close proximity to large population centers and critical infrastructure assets.
Okay. So, for terrorism, ports and facilities play a large role in international commerce, and ports and facilities are often located in close proximity to large population centers and critical infrastructure assets. Infrastructure assets. Well, Danilo, are you ready?
Were vessels at high risk for terrorist activity?
Okay.
Cargo containers are loaded at the facility with drugs and illegal activities. The volume of traffic gives terrorists opportunities to smuggle themselves or their weapons into the United States, with little risk of detection for workplace violence and cultural damage.
Okay, so cargo containers, they are really big for the cargo containers that they have. Are loaded at the facility with drugs and illegal activities. The volume of traffic gives terrorists opportunities to smuggle themselves or their weapons into the United States with little risk of detection, workplace violence, and collateral damage. So I will say that a lot of things happen in the cargo containers. There are some stories about, people in containers that they want to smuggle, que quieren al final pasar, ¿verdad? De manera ilegal, and also a lot of things that are illegal. So that's for the vessels that are high risk. Okay, let's have another one. Manila amendments. Maritime security. Okay, that's important. Angel, please.
What is the maritime security? Eso se lee de vocal en vocal o todo junto, MARSEC level.
I will say MARSEC level. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that. And also maritime. Tienen que salir del curso diciendo bien eso. Maritime. Incluso tampoco lo sabía. Maritime. Maritime security. Como Mary del nombre, Mary. Maritime. So what's the maritime security level?
The level set to reflect the prevailing threat environment to the marine elements of the transportation system.
Okay, so the MARSEC level, just try to remember for the MARSEC level, is going to be the level set to reflect the prevailing threat environment to the marine elements of the transportation system. Okay, the level set to reflect the prevailing threat environment to the marine elements of the transportation system. So how dangerous is the threat? That's going to be the MARSEC level. How dangerous? Okay, what do contracting governments or designated authorities set maritime security levels based on? Okay, the degree that the threat level is credible, the degree that the threat information is corroborated, the degree that the threat information is specific or imminent. Okay, that's like the level of the threat. Which of the following statement is correct? At MARSEC level 1, all persons seeking to gain access to a facility or vessel must carry an official form of identification. Okay. MARSEC level 1, all persons seeking to gain access to a facility or vessel must carry an official form of identification. At level 3, and let's finish. I will say that we have maybe some infographics here for that, so we can finish with that. We have three levels for MARSEC levels. Okay, this is a good one. And let's finish with this. I think we can finish with this. Please, Danilo, the first one.
MARSEC 1. Security measures in effect. Minimum appropriate protective security measures shall be maintained at a time in accordance to the vessel or facility security plan.
Okay, so that's the MARSEC level. Security measures in effect. So that's when a threat is, on the ship. Security measures in effect. Minimum appropriate protective security measures shall be maintained at all times in accordance to the vessel or facility security plan. So I think tomorrow we can search for that facility security plan. Angel, please, MARSEC level 2.
MARSEC 2, elevate security measures in effect. Appropriate additional protective security measures shall be maintained for a period of time as a result of heightened risk of a transportation security incident.
All right, so pretty good. MARSEC level 2, things are starting to get really dangerous. Elevated security measures in effect. Appropriate additional protective security measures shall be maintained for a period of time as a result of heightened risk of a transportation security incident. Okay, MARSEC level 2. And let's finish with MARSEC level 3, please, Danilo.
MARSEC 3. Highest security measure in effect. Further specific protective security measure shall be maintained for a limited period of time when transportation security incident is a probable or imminent. Also, it might not be possible to identify the specific target.
All right, pretty good, pretty good. So as for the MARSEC level 3, that's when things are getting really dangerous. And this word, although, that's a common word. We use that a lot in English, although. Eso significa sin embargo, although. Y muchas veces solo se escribe do, cuando es informal, cuando estoy, digamos, chateando, do. Y se va a combinar un poquito con even though también. Even though. Even though es sin embargo. O más sin embargo. Even though más sin embargo. Y though solo sin embargo. Okay. So let's continue for this topic tomorrow. Thanks for joining the class. And let's meet for the final class tomorrow. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Goodbye, teacher. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Take care. Goodbye.